How's everybody doing today? Muto here. Today we're going to talk about slow pitch jigging. We're all familiar with this style of slow pitch jigging. 300 gram, 200 gram, I think these are 160, 170, but we're not talking about these today. What we're talking about is these micro slow pitch jigs. Anywhere from 40 gram down to 7 gram. Now these are primarily for saltwater bass, barred sand bass, spotties in particular. I've gotten sculpin on these, and even some halibut. I started fishing these at the end of 2020. I would say maybe about 6 months ago. I just picked them up and started fishing deep, 50 feet, 40 feet out in the bays here in Southern California. When I first started doing it, people were surprised. They're like, man, you're catching spotties 50 feet deep on a slow pitch jig. And I'm like, yeah, it's crazy. And I've been sharing the knowledge. Some people have been doing them a little bit before me, and we're all kind of coming into this new technique. It's not new in Japan, but I feel like it's getting prominence here, so I just wanted to give you guys my technique, how I do it, and hopefully you guys can gain some knowledge and just a new perspective on how to fish. Traditionally we fish the docks with finesse rigs, Texas rigs, Ned rigs, the drop shot, and all that stuff works. It works great. This is just a different alternative, a fun, different style to do it when you're out deeper. And I'm going to show you my setup, how I do it, and then show you guys a video of me fishing. So this is what I use. This is a Phoenix M1 Inshore. It's a 1 to 3 ounce. I've got a Komodo 200 size reel. What I do is I run 30-pound braid, high vis, and I run a swivel with the bead. The bead is just there to protect the guides so they don't damage them. Sometimes when you're burning this up, you go too fast and you want to crush the swivel into the guides. And then I run a clip, and then this is a Major Craft jig par. This is a 40. The clip I have on here is primarily just to switch it quickly. So if you're 40 feet, 50 feet, 60 feet, I'll keep the 40 gram on. When I switch to 30 feet, 20 feet, I'm going to put a smaller jig on. 20 gram, 30 gram, something like that. Now the key to this technique is right here in the tension. So when you click the free spool down, the whole idea is to get the jig to flutter. These are designed to imitate a dying bait fish. You want the flutter action going back and forth. You don't want it dropping straight up and down. So if your tension is too tight on this, when you drop it into free spool, you want it to go down. Now if it's too tight, it's just going to drop vertically. That's not what we want. I want this as loose as possible, where you're almost getting a backlash, but not quite. Usually I'll set it so I'm getting 1 or 2 strands are almost popping off of this thing as the jig is going down. And then what that's telling me is the jig is coming back on itself, and that's what's causing the strands to come out. And that's exactly what we want. Almost on the verge of backlashing, but not quite. So there's no perfect setting for this. This is all going to depend on the weight that you're using. If you're using a 30 gram, 40 gram, you're going to adjust it accordingly. So as you go to different depths of water, you're going to change it up. That's the magic. That's the most important thing, is getting that free spool as loose as possible without backlashing. Secondly, is being as vertical as possible. You want it dropping vertically down, because the same thing happens if you're drifting too fast and you put it in front of you and you're drifting. The weight is going to pendulum, and it's not going to, you're getting the same action. It's just going to swing on itself, and you're not getting the flutter action. 90% of your bites are going to come on the flutter as it's falling. So the technique I use when I'm down there, I just let it go as vertical as possible, let it fall. Once it hits the bottom, I'll engage it. Sometimes I'll bounce it 3 to 5 times, and then I'll burn it up. If I'm 50 feet, I'll burn it up 25 feet, click it down, let it free spool again. Do its flutter, maybe bounce it 3 or 4 times. You don't always have to do the bounce. Burn it up 25 feet, let it go. Now if the fish aren't there, you want to move on to the next spot. Don't keep wasting your time, dropping it in the same spot. What I'm looking for on my fish finder is structure or uneven ground or even marks. So if it's a sandy area and I see some rocks or any type of structure, any differential in the ground, I'll just drop this right on their head. If there's a fish there, they'll bite it. Or if I see a fish mark, I'll just stop, and again, as vertical and as freely as possible, drop it. Give it 3 times, move on to the next one. So with the vertical jigging, this is primarily a kayak technique or boat technique. when you're out there in the bays or out past the jetties, you know, in the water, a little deeper water, 40 to 50 feet deep. This does also work at docks, so if you want to walk up to a dock and you're using some of the 7 or 10 gram jigs, you can drop them there too and use the same technique. It's a little different, but this video that I'm going to show you guys is some footage where I went out on March, early March. It was cold, it was overcast, the sun didn't really come out. I mean, it was probably sprinkling on and off 30% of the time, and I don't even think the water was 60 degrees, and we still probably caught about 22 fish or so, primarily on the slow pitch. So we're going to show you guys that video. It sounds a little iffy. It was windy that day. It's a little far from my GoPro, but you'll still get the gist. I explained a little bit of things out there when I'm fishing it, but I wanted to show you guys firsthand exactly what I'm using. We're still learning this technique, but this has been getting me fish. I know it's been getting a lot of people some other fish, and hopefully it helps you guys out. So hopefully you enjoy it, and without further ado, here's the video. Keep it from going around the anchor. Oh, foul hook. We came up and looked at it for sure. Slow pitch. There we go. Another one. Big boys. Run. Oh yeah. Look at that beast. Big old angry guy. That's a perfect hook. That's what we want, right in the mouth. We'll just come up and get this thing right on that slow fall. Decent size. I'm not going to weigh it or anything. Probably 12 inches, 12 and a half. We're about 51 feet here. Some decent prospects. See if we can get on some fish. BBC, Arizona. Okay. There it is. BBC, Arizona. This is the BBC fish, boys and girls. Little dink, but you know, kind of out here in the middle of nowhere. Found some nice ground. Get bit. Got a little razor clam in its mouth. Grow up, son. So like when you're casting at the docks, just give it a few casts. I'll give it what I do is lift it up, just give it a few falls. Lift it up, give it a few falls. You know, if they're not there, move on to a new spot. If they're not there, they're not there. Don't waste your time. Hoping they're going to come up. I know I've made that mistake. Little bird's nest here. We all have, right? Where we sit there thinking that miracle fish is going to come. Probably not. As we're drifting, I'm seeing some good marks down here now. There it is. Decent size. Right there on that fall. Maybe not a decent. Man, these spotties just fight. You always think they're monsters, man. I always think I got the world record on them. They're always not the big one. Small guy. Lost it. Got a good fighter on there. Back on the slow fall. There he is. You know about that, brother? Feels foul. A big ass fish. Spot again. Actually, I think we're gonna move in a little bit. Shelf over here. Get about a 10-foot drop off. That's what I'm looking for. Whenever it dips down, you can't find structure. Those dips are just as valuable because that's where they hide. When they wait for bait fish, they're, you know, ambush predators. So they'll hide in that drop off and try to snag bait fish coming by. There we go. There it is. Some city. Some floaters off the time. Decent sized guys too. Dude, left those little dinks. Not legals, but good fighters for sure. Killing it on the slow fish all day. Baby, another one. All right, everybody, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you like the content, like it, subscribe. I'll do more if it's something you guys want. I'm just getting into this whole fishing video thing, so if it's something you guys are into, I'm into it too, and we'll make some more. All right, thank you.